Is Little Book Chapter 8, Path Not Taken, one of the most innovative rye blends out there to date? Let's find out. Stay tuned.
Cynple Whiskey, Cyncere. Here to keep it 100. What's the ABV? Keep it simple. Cynple Whiskey. And be sweeter.
What's up, everybody, and welcome back to the Cynple Whiskey Show. I'm Cyncere, and tonight we're diving into Little Book Chapter 8, Path Not Taken. If you're new to the channel, don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on your notification bells to stay up to date on all things Cynple Whiskey. This bottle isn't simply about whiskey. It's about taking a different road and coming up with something truly unique. Little Book Chapter 8 blends 7 whiskeys to show us the diversities of this unique rye. This blend includes everything from 18-year-old Kentucky bourbon to multiple 5-year rye whiskeys. It's a mix of tradition and innovation that redefines rye. On the nose, they describe notes of fresh dill, butterscotch, toasted rye bread. And on the palate, they mention floral notes, sweet apricot, and heavy oak. This is not your standard rye. It's bold, it's layered, and ready to challenge your expectations. At least it did so for me. So how did I come across this bottle? You know, every now and then, bourbon hunting pays off in some of the most unexpected ways. I'm in Hershey, Pennsylvania on a work trip. I go to the bourbon store, and what do I spot? That's it, not this. I spot Larceny Barrel Proof Batch C924. I was ecstatic. It hadn't hit the shelves yet here in Virginia, hadn't seen it out in the wild, so of course I had to snag it. But as I'm checking out, I noticed behind the counter a little black box on the floor, turned around backwards, couldn't quite make out what it was. I knew that by the shape it looked like a Booker's box, but it was black. So I asked the clerk, a guy who looks like he's been around since medicinal bourbon was issued, if they had anything allocated outside of what I could see directly behind him on the shelf and what was already out amongst the store on the shelf. And his answer to me was, what you see is what we got. Elijah Craig Barrel Approved, Whistle Pig, a couple of different older age batches, and then of course some Dickel. Nothing that seemed overly exciting to me, so at this point I'm ready to check out. What should have been a smooth transaction took a little bit of a turn based off of the look I got when I said, "So what's that in the floor right there?" He looked a little bit annoyed that I asked, and he says, "Oh, we got Little Book too." Now here's the dilemma. I'm already holding my Larceny Barrel Proof ready to check out. $75 or so is what I was willing to pay for that. Little Book isn't quite the easiest decision to make at $149 a bottle. Plus, I'm traveling, space in my bag's a little tight. And yeah, I'm in a car, but I don't want bottles rolling around all the way back to Virginia on my drive home either. Long story longer, I pulled the trigger on Little Book Chapter 8, Path Not Taken. And to tell the truth, the fact that it was turned around backwards on the floor as if somebody didn't want me to see it made me want it that much more. Got to share it that night at the hotel with a buddy of mine. Great pours, great stories. So again, I have no regrets about buying this bottle. Sometimes being observant and asking the right questions simply pays off. So, without further ado, let's get to sipping. All right, so let's see what makes this blend so special, at least to me. Right off the bat, I get a little bit of that rye spice, a bit of caramel or butterscotch. It's complex and inviting. Definitely something I want to take a sip of. Let's take a sip. Woo! This is something else. First sip of the night. The cinnamony spice note that I get on this definitely comes through heavy. A slight punch in the mouth. Get a lot of that smoky oaky rounding it out, but I do also get some sort of a bright fruit note. Not quite sure what it is, but I get a brighter fruit note on this as well. That spearminty rye note definitely shines through as well. Super sweet. Very pungent, but also very smooth at the same time, if that's even possible. The spiciness on this is a bit refined, almost like elegant. Definitely seems like it was well crafted. The finish on this is long, it's warm, has a lingering nuttiness. It's bold, but it's also smooth and makes me want another sip. So let's give it a sip with a few drops of water and see just how well it opens it up. I have a feeling that it's going to do quite pleasant things to this particular bottle. Went a little bit heavier on the water this time than I usually do. Did 7 drops instead of 3 to 5. So on the nose, now that I've added a little bit of water, super smooth, super sweet. I still get some of that rye spice, but this go around I get almost like a honey note on the nose. Let's give it a sip. The sweetness comes more to the forefront. Just like on the nose, I thought I got a little bit of a honey note. I definitely get more of a honey note, almost like a rich apricot note, maybe is the fruit that I was getting earlier that comes through a little bit more so with the water to open it up. And the oakiness is even more approachable. I usually like a heavier oak note, but with the water on it this go around, the oaky note has mellowed out some, but it still shines through in the finish. Overall, super complex, very nice flavors, and I'm not usually a rye guy, but this right here, something about it just does it for me. All right, here are the simple thoughts on this one. Little Book Chapter 8, Path Not Taken. MSRP on this, $149.99. Premium price, but I'm not complaining with the amount of complexity you get here. Secondary pricing, I've seen it as high as I think $199 online. Proof, 118.1 proof. Bold, but not overpowering. The fact that it has that rye spice, I think that adds to a little bit of the sweet heat that you get on this one. The blend components on this one, 18-year Kentucky straight bourbon, 11-year Kentucky rye, 7-year rye malt, and multiple 5-year ryes with different char levels. Simple advice, if you're a fan of bold, experimental flavors, then this is a no-brainer to just buy. But if you throw in price point as well, it's a try before you buy because, again, $150 to spend on a bottle that you may or may not like, it's going to be very hard to find $150 bottles that I recommend buy or buying back up. This is a bottle that tells a story with every sip, perfect for special occasions or sharing with friends who appreciate the art of whiskey making. I really enjoy this pour. So is Little Book Chapter 8, Path Not Taken, one of the most innovative rye blends out there? I'd have to say yes. It's one of the best rye-forward blends I've tried this year. And again, I'm not a traditional rye guy. If you made it this far, don't forget to like, subscribe, turn on your notification bells to stay up to date on all things Cynple Whiskey. And as my trip to Hershey has reminded me, sometimes you just have to look behind the counter or even ask the right questions to find something special along your journey. Little Book reminds us that the path not taken can still lead to something extraordinary, just like the blend proves. So here's to new roads, great whiskey, and great friends to share it with. Until next time, keep it simple. Cheers.